Mr. Jafaru, the figures are staggering. 2.23 trillion naira in 1 year. The expectation would have been that as a country that is evolving technologically, that technology would be better deployed in monitoring this process. But it doesn't appear to have happened, at least in the last 1 year of this report.
Well, looking at, I've always been an advocate of one that use technology to make things easier and bring forth efficiencies. Looking at it from security standpoint, technology is one thing that you can use to achieve results in the area of automating processes. And once technology is embedded into certain aspects of the country's processes, it aid in curtailing some of the acts and the activities of these criminals. It saddens me that we are still, even though we've embedded technology in some aspects of our systems, in the area of security and the area that tends to be very important and relevant to the existence of the country, we have not so much put emphasis in embedding security and technology into those processes. And technology is now advancing. We are still crying and lamenting on embedding the current technology. Meanwhile, new technologies are coming forth. So if we've not been able to embed the current technology like the artificial drone system, I don't know how we're going to be able to now embed technologies like AI that's coming to help in making some of these things easier for security agencies. So I believe that once technology is embedded into our systems and our processes, looking at it from the standpoint, looking at it from technologies like drone systems that can be used to monitor some of these activities, and these technologies are not as expensive as we generally presumed or as assumed, because you can build this technology locally. We have kits that are building drones. The only major challenge is the fact that they've not been able to get sustainable power to keep the drones in the air for quite a number of hours. But when it has to do with the main products that will keep this drone flying, we have the skill set, we have the intellectual prowess and the power to ensure that this technology is available. So we can't say because probably we're not getting this technology outside the country, so because that we can't embed it. We can build it and get other systems to attach it to ensure that it's able to stand in the air. Once we're able to get these technologies embedded into the system, I think to a large extent we'll be able to we'll be able to drive security and ensure that one is safe while surfing, going through our daily activities.
Dr. Noy,
yes.
So what does that suggest to us? I mean, for the security of our people who live in these rural areas.
Okay, so one thing I know that some of them have tried to embed, because there is usually one of the reasons why this thing is high is because of, as he had said, the ungoverned spaces within the rural environment. And what some of these rural environment chiefs have done is to develop their own internal security system by getting VGN, that's the vigilante group of Nigeria, to help in augmenting the little security that they have. Because truth be told, the numbers of policemen that we have in the country cannot govern the numbers of citizens in terms of amount. It's like 400,000 to less than 1 million to over 200 million persons. So the size of force professionals that we have can't do the job of governing the total number of communities that we have. So they have to now help themselves, and by helping themselves is to embed VGN and internal security operatives like the vigilante group to help them augment their security. However, there's also the challenge of capacity development for those category of persons, because they may not have the intellectual know-how. It's not just about getting someone and pursuing someone, or someone that they consider to be a criminal. It's not that, it goes beyond that. There is the need for intellectual development for this set of I call them professionals, who would need to know how to carry out intelligence, how to know if certain persons that is in the community, that is not in the community, find himself in the community, how to pass that intelligence, and a whole lot of information that they need to know how to process, information processing. So the inability for these guys to be able to carry out that may in a way reduce the level of efficiency in their operations. So while they are doing their best in achieving what they are achieving, because we still see in news where vigilante arrests somebody and hands over the person to the police. We still see that in news. So we can't completely rule out the efforts they are putting in ensuring that this security is achieved within the community. But beyond that, I think we need to look for a way to go to community policing, whereby we integrate extensive, we legalize the community policing by engaging them in capacity development, building their intellectual prowess and their capacity to be able to carry out this, then integrating them into the security architecture, because the security architecture does not have them completely integrated and legally integrated. They may be operating, there are operations that happen, I know, there are operations that happen that they involve them. Even the police involve VGN operatives in carrying out those operations, especially when they are going to rural area. They involve these operatives, but involving them, in most cases, usually, I'm involving you because I need to involve you. It's not as though that it is part of the security architecture of the country to involve those kind of persons. Maybe it's there, but it's not yet legal. If it is integrated into our legal security architecture, it's easier to integrate VGN operative into different operations, and that can help to mitigate crime.
Yes,
Exactly.
Mr. Jafaru, let's now pay some attention to these cyber security issues. Now we have a situation where we have hundreds of foreigners, Chinese, Filipinos, and what have you, being the ones engaged in cyber fraud and all manner of schemes across, in almost every city in Nigeria today. I'm sure if the EFCC or the police go after them, you will find such cells in various cities across Nigeria. But at least the ones that have been reported are the ones of Abuja and Lagos. Yet they are operating from within Nigeria, and they are scamming people internationally, and it is the name of Nigeria that is at stake.
Okay, so when we talk about cybercrime, most persons usually look at Nigeria to be we are fifth anyway, globally. Global ranking, cybercrime index placed Nigeria as fifth, ahead of Russia, US, China, and Ukraine. And if you're looking at those four countries, you'll find out that there are issues that would warrant them being at the top of that incident. We have the US, China Cold War. We have the Ukraine-Russia war. So while the fiscal war is going on, there is the cyber war that is also going on. So they can give reasons. We can give reasons why they are the top of it. But if you're looking at it from the Nigerian perspective, being the fifth, there is not as though that we are passing through any war. There is no economic war. There is no fiscal war and all that. And why then are we in that rank? Nigerians are generally good at social engineering, and cybercrime is not just social engineering. Social engineering is the manipulative way of asking somebody or telling somebody to do what on the norms they would not want to do. Like most of us probably would have received somebody calling us and telling us our account number, our account something has happened to our account and all that we should. They are all tactics of social engineering. It really does not involve the skill of hacking. So Nigerians are largely not good in hacking. And several occasions I've mentioned that I know fully well, I have known Nigerians who have come to meet me and said, come and teach me hacking. If I know the kind of skill that, if I have the kind of skill that you have, I know what I would have been using it to do. And they've come to approach me and said, get me involved in this skill, let me learn this skill, because what I usually do is I want to understand the mindset that is driving you before you even get acquainted with this skill. So they are learning, but we've not learned to the extent where we become custodian of this skill and use this skill wholeheartedly. So what did we do now?
There's a gap there. So the Chinese and the Filipinos
exactly.
are
So
filling that gap.
what did we do now? What we did was to collaborate with those who have that expertise. Because in the course of social engineering, there is usually what's it called? The life cycle of a social engineering attack comes with there are specific kind of attack that would require you to be involved in hacking. Not all, but specific one would involve you to be involved. Will require you to be involved in hacking. And because we don't have that skill, we now have to we have to bring experts. Now collaborating with those experts to get involved and carry out that aspect in the life cycle of an attack. And while that is alarming, what should be more alarming is the fact that by the time we are now done learning this skill, it becomes a challenge for us as a country, because now it's not just the experts. We are arresting experts, and it's good that we are arresting them,
yes.
But Nigerians are learning it. Nigerians are learning hacking. It's not as though that there are two sides. There is the ethical hacking and there is the malicious act of hacking. So it saddens me because most Nigerians or most youth are get towards using hacking for malicious purposes.
So what's the way out? Yeah.
Well,
okay. All right.
Well, while that is good, it's going to. No, cybercrime is not a battle you fight with from the institute point of view alone. It is it's an industry that requires both the government, the public, and
the institute will take it to the government. So, just like what ICANN is doing. Sorry for interrupting you.
I understand, but
just like what ICANN does in accounting profession, we don't allow quacks, and once we get to them, we know what to do.
Okay.
Okay. So now,
very quickly,
for hacking, for example, just as you having a gun, it's easier for you to license a gun. Gun, you can just give someone a license without you having the physical gun. You really can't do anything, even though you have the license. You need the physical gun. But hacking is a skill. It's an intellectual skill, and you can learn it anywhere.
All right.
So because you can learn it anywhere, it's practically difficult for you to manage. So you have to ensure that there are ways to go about this, but it needs to be an integration. Now, the first thing is that there is a lack, there is a abuse.
Honey, we'll have to go very quick.
There is the abuse of our social and our political, our societal and family values. That's one thing that is driving the force in hacking, because we've seen mothers enroll their children in this skill for the malicious purpose of this. The Budapest Cybercrime Foundation also necessitated and mandated that most countries that have appended and have signed to that treaty establish what is known as cybercrime courts, specialized court for cybercrime. We don't have that in this country. Okay. Then there is the low funding for even the agencies that are also doing this.
Mr. Jafaru, we have to go. Our time is up. Thank you so much, gentlemen.